Okay, I'll interrupt myself before we go to the electoral map to say that the Associated Press is projecting Biden is going to win, Vice President Biden is going to win in Delaware, win in Illinois, win in Delaware CNN as well as AP, win in Massachusetts according to the AP, and President Trump gets one. He gets to win in Tennessee according to the AP. Any surprises there for you, Rick?
Bay states. When you look at sort of the Electoral College and you start with solid Democrat, these are states in solid Democrat, solid Republican, these are those states. So we're cutting through a lot of wood now. These are all states that you would have predicted happen here. A few of them have got some interesting Senate races in it, like what we were just talking about. Those races in Georgia were interesting. South Carolina's got the Graham race. You know, you've got in North Carolina the Tillis race. These could actually determine the who's going to be the majority in the Senate. So those are worth watching. But these other states that are just ticking by now are just going to add to the stockpile of electoral votes that these candidates are amassing as they get to the more battleground states coming up in the next hour.
So, Jeanne, while we're adding the stockpile, we've got the Associated Press also projecting Rhode Island is going to go for the former Vice President Joe Biden, as well as Connecticut. The Associated Press is projecting that as well. Again, none of these are surprises. I mean, you have to sort of look at the ones that are likely to change rather than ones you sort of are counting on.
Yeah, absolutely. We aren't seeing any change. And just to add to Rick's list of, Senate races, Alabama, of course, there's a Senate race. And, good news for the Republicans. The president, not unexpectedly, again, what we expected, held that out. And, Doug Jones down there, that's a tough one for Democrats. So, but again, all of these early states are ones that we expected. No big changes here. Again, to me, what I would love to see as a political scientist are the percentages. We won't see those until we get the final votes in. But if you see any major percentages, Biden winning Delaware is not a big surprise. But if he was to win it slightly less narrowly than we thought, that might be.
So here's a big one, Rick. I'm not sure it's a surprise, but it is a big one. The Associated Press is now projecting that Mitch McConnell has won his Kentucky Senate race. So the majority leader will remain the majority leader, provided the Republicans keep a majority in the Senate. As I say, I'm not sure it's a big surprise, although it was a well-fought race, right?
Well, it is a phenomenon that's been occurring throughout this election cycle where a relative unknown puts their name on the ballot in Kentucky to run against majority leader, and within one quarter raises $10 million. I mean, that's really phenomenal. Mitch McConnell became the face and the name of a massive fundraising activity for the Democrats to try and unseat him. And for a while, he had to pay attention. He had to be able to campaign at home. And obviously, for the majority leader who's trying to pass a stimulus and do other legislative work, the distractions of running for re-election at home are not what you really want. So the fact that he's won isn't a surprise. The fact that the Democrats had raised so much money against the sitting majority leader is a phenomena, and we've seen that repeated now in many other states. And I think a real interesting one to watch is the Purdue race right now in Georgia. They have the 50% threshold that if you don't get past it, you have to run in a runoff. And the question is, does he even come in first, or does the candidate Ossoff come in ahead of him, which would be a really interesting indicator of weakness by an incumbent Republican senator.